If this video pushes you to become 1% better today, subscribe because I upload powerful motivational speeches every week.
If life is a long journey of self-acceptance, I think the earlier you can accept your own peculiarities as just part of you, rather than trying to justify them or mold to the archetype that you think is acceptable within your social circle. At least for me, like there's this period of discomfort when you change anything because everyone around you wants you to fit within the label that they are comfortable with.
But they also have the anchor of what you were before.
Yeah, exactly. And so they try and people don't like that. And so they're like, no, I like you in this box. So just say, I know you're having a little thing right now. Don't worry. And they just want to shove you back into it. And there's a lot of uncomfortable conversations that you have to have where it becomes really socially awkward. And so like I said one the other day about like going home for the holidays, and the reason I don't like doing it is because often I have to confront a lot of people that I haven't seen in a long time, and they'll speak to me in a way that I don't like. And before that I would roll it off like whatever, no big deal, but I don't accept that.
We know what to do. It's just we're not willing to endure what it's required to get it. And we're not willing to reframe that pain as the price of the thing we want, and to give our pain meaning. Fortunately or unfortunately, humans, we live in a competitive environment. We seek status because of, evolutionary backdrops. And so how do you beat other people? And I want to be clear, I don't really think you need to beat anybody, right? If you just beat you every day, you'll beat everybody by default. And I think that you'll get to the end of the race and realize no one else is really racing anyways.
If you want patience, then you're not going to get things quickly. If you want to have endurance, it's like you have to be able to tolerate suffering, right? If you want to be wise, it's like you're going to have to get burned, and you're going to have to learn the value of judgment. And sometimes that means you're going to get betrayed in order to learn that pattern. And so it's like we lament the price tag for the things that we want. And I think that, at least for me, my ultimate long-term goal is just to become the person that the best version of me, right? And I think that in order for that to happen, I will have to go through pain.
The bigger your goals, the more pain you're going to endure, whether you want to or not. It's the price. And if you can endure 4 times more pain than someone else, I don't actually think that it feels 4 times more painful. I think it feels the same level of pain, but you have this padding that makes it feel worth it. Give a man a purpose and the ability to achieve it, and he will crawl over broken glass with a smile. That broken glass, like, how can you have a smile during the pain? It's because of what the pain itself represents. We live inside of prisons of our own making based on our belief system. And so if you want to change your life, you have to change your belief system. Belief system is just a different way of saying things that you know or believe to be true. These are just the facts that you live on. Now, the thing is we can't double check every single thing that we believe because we can't. It would take too long, right? As a human being, every single thing you had to fact check. So the vast majority of the things that we believe and take as true were just given to us by other people. It's what I find very interesting about this is that we are so hesitant to question our beliefs, when in reality, almost none of our beliefs are ours. They're not yours, they're someone else's. It's not about doing your best. It's about doing what's required, because what's required might be better than your best is right now. But the good news is that your best can get better.
Either the people that you're worried about judgment are going to die, or that you're going to die, or that even if you do achieve the thing, they won't care anyways. Or if you don't do anything, they won't think about you to begin with. And don't you want to be thought about to begin with? Like, don't you want some level of significance? You're gonna die.
This one's near and dear to my heart because I was told my whole life that I was unbalanced, that I was too extreme, that I was too hardcore, that I was too all in, that I was too obsessive about everything. And I honestly had to fight to be me. And I'm making this because it's not common to be unbalanced. It's more common to be mediocre. Like, the people who obsess about work-life balance tend to be mediocre at both. And so, like, if you want something, you have to go get it. It's like this entropy, like the world will try to drag you down and make you a part of it. It will try to dilute who you are. It will try to make you fit into the mold that they accept. And so, like, you have to be willing to be extreme to get an extreme result, because many of the goals and aspirations that you have probably are above average. Like, actually, if you look at it, you're like, I want to make $1 million a year. Fine. Guess how rare that is? You want to guess? It's not 1%. 1%, 600K in the US. And if you're global, forget about it. So you want to make $1 million a year? That's not even a 1 out of 100 goal. It's a 1 out of 200, 1 out of 300 goal. And you have that goal and you think that somehow you're going to behave like the 299 and get there. It's not normal. It's unbalanced. You have to take unrelenting, obsessive amounts of action for a disproportionate period of time where you get zero reward for doing so. If anything, you just get disproportionate punishment for taking this, and you question your own sanity half the time because you're like, am I just being crazy? Is it insane for me to have these aspirations, these goals, these dreams for my life? And everyone around you will tell you yes, because it's in their best interest, because it makes it your failure protects their ego. And so people demand success but refuse to work, right? They won't work weekends. People want opportunity but won't talk to strangers. People claim ambition but they sleep in every day, right? We're the result of our actions, not our aspirations. So many people have the same goal as you, but very few of them will do the same work as you.
All of the great things that have happened for humanity have been from one man or woman who had an idea and just wouldn't let people shake it from them. Charlie Munger said, "The money isn't made in the buy, and it's not made in the sell, it's made in the wait." And that like, I just feel like that's such an elegant way of thinking about it. It's like the hard part about the plan is sticking to the plan. Like the plan wasn't bad. Your first plan was good because it's easy to go say, I'm going to work out 3 days a week for the next year. And it's a good plan.
Pretty good plan.
It's a pretty good plan. And the interesting thing is that like a mediocre plan that's stuck to always outperforms an amazing and perfect plan that you never stick with to begin with. And I know this obviously from the fitness world, but it applies to everything. And so like the stick to it muscle is the one that you have to flex. And that's why like if you're going through things, you have, especially in the earlier days, like I remember I used to start and stop. And I try this thing, I try that thing. It's normal because you haven't been reinforced enough of sticking with something. Right. But the thing is like you have to stick it out long enough that you get that first carrot, you get that first cookie. And then all of a sudden, everything that you did to get there, you're like, oh, more of that will get me more cookies. And then it just becomes this self-perpetuating cycle. And then you get addicted to work. Whenever I have my harder times, that's my like reminder to self of the absurdity of it all, which is like someone's going to argue over what appetizer they're going to serve when I die. This probably doesn't matter that much. Hard work is the goal. And so it's not like work hard so that X, because as soon as you have a so that, then the X is the thing. But if the goal is to work as hard as you possibly can, then the only real output we have is who we become along the way. And so in reframing that, then it's something that I can win or measure myself against every day in real time throughout the day, which is how hard am I working? Because that is the goal. And then even I say this just for audio, but like everything else takes care of itself, still puts the everything else as the goal still. It's just being vaguer. But if you just say like, the only point is working hard because I know that whatever I'm going to get is stuff that I will become accustomed to. And the, I guess, opposite of the hedonic treadmill is like the resilience piece is that my ability to work hard itself is growable. And so I just need to keep my RP, my rate of perceived exertion, at 8 or 9 or 10, because I know that when I look back on my life, the days that I loved the most were days when I had nothing left in the tank. The idea that working hard doesn't make progress is one of the biggest farces that exists in humanity, because at the end of the day, whatever you amount to isn't going to matter anyways, right? And so if there is anything that's eternal for us, at least as individuals, it's going to be who we become in the process. And so one of my favorite quotes is, the work works on you more than you work on it. And so if you want to be the best in the world at something, you do the work to become the best in the world, and the work works on you. And so I mean, there's a biblical proverb. I think it says like, there is profit in all labor. And that means that even if the thing that you're working on right now doesn't amount to the outcome that you expected that it would, it doesn't mean that you don't become better through doing it. Figure out what you want, ignore the opinions of others, and do so much volume that it would be unreasonable that you would be unsuccessful. Like, I get criticized all the time for work-life balance. People are like, well, you don't have any hobbies, Alex, and you don't whatever, right? And I'm like, I don't want any. So why do I have to sacrifice things that I would prefer to do things I don't want to do to satisfy your objective measure of what you deem as work-life balance? Why? I think a lot of people are looking for something that is very hard to find. And then they attribute their lack of success or lack of action because they don't have passion or motivation, right? And I would read all the self-help books. I read, like, every night. That's all I did. I just read all these self-help books. And I found one of them that said, there are people who are wantrepreneurs and entrepreneurs. And I remember hearing that word wantrepreneur, and I was like, it made me feel sad. I was like, I don't want to be a fucking wantrepreneur. I was like, I'm not some bitch. Like, but I was like, but what if they're right? I am a wantrepreneur. I'm not an entrepreneur. I want to be one, and I'm not. And from that point, it took me 6 months to quit my job to actually decide to do the entrepreneurial thing. And I think in the early days, people are looking for the big carrot. They want the big vision. They want the big passion, but they don't have it. But I'll give you the first rule of entrepreneurship that I have learned, which is use what you have. And a lot more people have pain. A lot more people have anger. A lot more people have shame. And if you can use that as your gas in the beginning, you'll eventually get to a point where you can get out of that loop and then find something that you are really passionate about. But if you can't tie your shoes, you can't lift the weight, you can't send the DM, then you have to start with whatever you have. And so for me, it was hatred of my current existence. I hated being an entrepreneur. I hated being a wannabe. I hated being one of those people who like talked about all the things they were going to do and didn't do anything. I hated living the life that my dad wanted me to live. I was his bitch. That's what it was. I was his bitch. I was living his dreams out, not mine. And that was, led to that other tweet, which was, sometimes your parents' dreams have to die in order for yours to live. And for me, I realized that the idea that my father had of me as his son, that image had to die in order for the image of myself that I wanted to be to live. Because I kept trying to quit my job and go be an entrepreneur. And every time I'd have the conversation, be like, come over, we'll talk about it, we'll have dinner, and he'd always talk me off the ledge. It was always over and over again.
Good salesman.
Yeah. If the goal is to get better and you're like, man, I really want to learn something from this podcast. If you listen to this podcast and then you're in the same exact conditions as you were before, and then you do not change your behavior, you learned nothing. And so a lot of people are like, man, he's so smart, but he just doesn't. It's like, well, then if he doesn't change his behavior and he's in the same conditions, he's a dummy. He's not that smart. And so if you are trying to battle the same boss over and over again, and you don't change what you're doing, and the boss keeps beating you, then it's not the game's problem. It's your problem. You are the problem. You have to learn the skills to become successful. And oftentimes learning those skills is painful because you don't know the skills when you're trying to learn them, and mistakes hurt. And so I think there's just a huge amount of skills that you have to learn in order to be successful. And if we define success as material success for business, at least, then it's just, there's so many things you have to learn. It's very hard to learn them scar-free.
You will die. Months later, no one will care. And so why care about what they think so much when they care so little about what you do? Like, take the risk, right? Shake off the losses, shake them off. Because in the end, you live for the story only you can tell, to the only person who was there with you the entire time, which is you. You might as well make it epic, because you're literally the story writer and the story listener, the story consumer. We're born alone and we die alone. Even if other people captured your entire life, they still don't know what was going on in your head. They don't know your intentions. They don't know what you were thinking through at every given moment. Only you do that. That's why being able to, over time, in my opinion, be the judge, jury, executioner of your own faith and your own judgment is one of the most valuable things you could do, because you're the only person who can say good job. You might win in some circumstances and not have tried. To me, that's a loss, because you know you could have put more in. You didn't empty the tank, right? You left some on the field. The other extreme, if you followed a logical thought path and you moved mountains to try and accomplish something, and if you actually had exhausted every possible path that you could think of, truly, beyond costs that were not worth the price of whatever you were trying to get, you exhausted all of the paths that were worth it, and you don't get it, other people may have said that you lost, but there's nothing else you could have done. And so you can still say good job. You stay in poverty until you learn the first lesson of poverty, which is 2 words: my fault. And so when I was younger, I was really angry at my parents, like many people are, right? Justified or not, doesn't really matter. I was very angry, and I blamed them for the woes of my life. And I realized when I was 19 that these people that I hated, I was giving all the power over the fact that I wasn't the person I wanted to be. And I was like, well, it's their fault. And the idea that I had actually given these people that I hated power over
my success was ultimately something that made me feel sick to my stomach and was what allowed me to point the finger of blame inwards and say my fault, and then at least take ownership over the fact that sure, maybe your dad didn't hug you enough, or maybe your mom wasn't present, or whatever it is, right? It's like, and?
But it takes meditation, it takes controlling of the mind to say, how should I behave? How should I be in this situation? And what's going to give me the best outcome? And I'm going to be honest, I've learned we can save the emotions for when I'm looking at the Nomad bag and going, man, that's my boy, thank you. Why would you even buy me? Like, what would make you think of, and this is a perfect gift? You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't think to buy suitcases for myself. That's where the emotion should be. Me coming in, seeing you, hugging you. What's up, fam? But when it comes to business, when it comes to being a leader and a decision maker, we're not doing emotions. We're doing empirical evidence.
Wow.
We're doing facts. What does the facts say? What does the research say? What does the evidence say? You're watching, you're in this space, you're reading his books, you're going to his conferences because you know it's in you, and it's time to stop being lazy, and it's time to activate.
I love that, man. Well, here's the thing why I think a lot of people might stay stuck is they allow their feelings to keep them in a place of frustration. You have this great example that you say execution should be fact-based, not feeling-based. But people feel the overwhelm of the economy or the government or their parents or their partner or whatever the responsibilities of the world. They feel anxious, avoidant, overwhelmed, burnt out, like doubtful, insecure, and they allow fear
To the 12-year-old that found
dream life.
My wife was like, I want to work out. My son was like, I didn't even know. She was like, I'm going to play basketball. I'm like, I can't do it right now. And I'm listening to a voice. He came home, heard the basketball, went out with his mom. I'm like, yo, my son, 29 years old, is spending time with his mom as an adult male.
Wow.
He could be anywhere doing anything. He's with his mom, her firstborn. They got this bond that I don't have, and they're out here hooping. And as I look at the property, I'm like, yo, what if the 16-year-old Eric Thomas would have stayed the 16-year-old Eric Thomas?
Wow.
So I'm saying for those who are listening, get a reward for it, and then do me a favor. Don't just think about you. Like, do you know that my son, you know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't rob a bank. You know what I'm saying? Like, you haven't done anything illegal. You did exactly what a good child should do. And I have a daughter that I have to get on her sometimes because she's that child that's like, yo, dad, what do you guys want me to do? And
She's obedient. She's obedient.
She's never messed up. I said, do me a favor. Don't always be obedient.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to sit down and ask yourself, if you weren't thinking about the family's name, if Eric Thomas, E.T. the hip hop preacher was not your father, what would you be doing? What would you be doing if you didn't have to worry about honoring, the dynasty? And you do a phenomenal job of honoring this dynasty. I'm not taking anything. Went to school, handled your business. You've never been in trouble before. We've never had to spend money doing anything. You've been a phenomenal child. But what would you do if you lived life on your terms and you were able to go where you want to do? And so that's the first thing I would ask them to do. I want you to think about your life instead of the life. I said, you should figure out what it is you do. He's a designer, right? You should be designing clothes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whenever, 5-6 hours a day. And then Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, because of your family, you should get a trip somewhere and go spend it with a friend. You should go you should go to Italy. You should go to Rome, son. You should go to South Africa, son. You should go to the Gold Coast in Australia, son. What are you doing? Like, you should work, but a part of work also is, where's your play? You should play. We worked hard so you could be back. So don't be like us. We grew up in a working class home. We grew up in Detroit. We grew up blue collar. You're not blue collar. So go enjoy your life. Be balanced. So I'm not just saying find your North Star in terms of what you've been called to do for others, but there should be I'm my ticket out of the neighborhood, or I'm the broken curse. Like, whatever you want to call yourself. But the day I stopped saying my mom, my dad, this person, the police, the day I stopped doing that, the day I said, do you think anyone mean to do it or not, you give them the keys to your life.
You give them power over you.
They got your whole life in their hand. Because you said it. They didn't do this, and because they got the keys. Now, I'll be honest, the reason why we don't want to take the keys, because we got to drive. We got to drive. And I told you, today I was like, I got too much to do. I normally drive. I'm like, I got too much to do. And it felt good to be in the car driven. It felt good.
Yeah.
Like I'm on the phone talking to my wife. We having worship, doing our thing, making a couple business calls. Like I don't have the responsibility of, and then am I willing
to do what it takes
to get it?
Yeah.
That's it.
Because it's a lot.
It's a lot. But here's the thing. I believe if you think about it, it is only because somewhere inside of you, you have what it takes. Now, capacity is there. Willingness is something totally different.
Yes.
That's different. But I want every human to know, you wouldn't be watching you wouldn't be watching or listening to the School of Greatness if you didn't believe you were great. I'm for real. You wouldn't be spending time with this man. Y'all on TikTok, y'all blew TikTok up. Mm-hmm. And I know it because adults are on LinkedIn and LinkedIn
Instagram.
LinkedIn made no money. TikTok, billionaire. Instagram, why? Because these young people are there. I said, when you show up to anything, it blows up. Here's my problem. You're in the school and you're failing. Why? Because you're waiting for the teacher to teach you. Mm-hmm. The teacher didn't teach you TikTok. The teacher didn't teach you how to play
YouTube Call of Duty.
They didn't teach you how to do that. You did it on your own. Why? Because you wanted to do it. And anything you activate, anything you do for you, it's going to blow out. But you're waiting for some teacher to teach you when you can pick up a book. Figure out your North Star and wake up every single day going after your North Star. Because when you have a North Star, and the people that you love and you spend time with have a North Star, have a purpose. And their purpose might be, we both have people whose purposes are help us with our purpose.
Yes.
They don't necessarily have an individual purpose. Right. Like they felt like they were called to help us
to serve our mission.
That's it. So we need a North Star so they can know what their North Star is.
Yeah.
So that would be my third one. It's like, you got to figure out what makes you happy. And again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. Okay, and based on the research and the evidence, this is the game plan. Let's go. It doesn't matter how you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it don't matter how you feel.
Man, I love this.
Yeah.
Again, if we're talking about really developing kind of a bulletproof mindset, when the last 5 years for a lot of people has been a lot of stress, overwhelming anxiety. As we move into 2025, in order to have a more powerful, resilient mindset, how important is it for not just me and you, because I already know the answer for me and you, how important is it for everyone to have mentors in their life?
It's everything, man. Listen to me. Yeah, we don't realize we are a community, right? And look, I'm not trying to be deep. People could, you believe this, you don't believe in this. But what I was taught, in school, especially Catholic school, it seemed like Adam was by himself first. It doesn't seem like it was like somebody else. It's like Adam was first, and then whatever happened after that. So the first man was by himself. And I think that's important for those of us who study that. Why? Because all of us think we have to have somebody to be somebody. And this guy started his journey on his own before he connected with somebody. He knew his purpose. He walked in his confidence. He walked his own. And a lot of us are going, I hear people say all the time, well, I'm not doing good life. Why not? I don't have nobody.
A lot of self-work can be summarized into thoughts aren't true, feelings don't require actions, things aren't good or bad, they just are. Our greatest enemy is ignorance. To change your life, change your surroundings. Our actions, not our pasts, define who we are. Do you think that the most successful people in the world became successful and then got disciplined? Or do you think that they became disciplined and then got successful?
Yeah, obviously the latter, yeah.
Correct. People aren't going to really remember any of the things that I do, and I'm not probably going to remember them either. What does it matter if it's perfect? What does it matter if I should just enjoy it? I should just have fun. The learning comes from the edges is so great because you think, well, I want things to be smooth. I don't want to face these challenges. I don't want to be in this difficulty. I wish that I didn't have this problem. I wish that this stress wasn't here. You go, okay, looking back, did any of the development that you care about come from a period where you didn't have problems exactly the same as this, completely akin to whatever it is that you're going through? You go, well, it was the most rapid change that I actually had in my life. And in retrospect, I'm really, really glad for the way that I alchemized this problem into something that was beautiful. You go, okay. So is there any of that energy that you can take from the past and bring to the present and say, I'm I know that I'm going through it, and I know that it sucks, and I know that trying to be pithy and reframing the present moment that is total arse into, oh, well, you know, in the future I'll be great. Like, yes, that sucked, but just that tiny little bit of insight that this challenge that you're going through is a gift to your future self. It is something that in future you will look back on with so much pride and glory, this odd sort of very normal version of glory. You didn't win a battle, you didn't complete a war, you didn't, you know, conquer some new land, but you conquered a part of yourself. You conquered a challenge that may have ended you in one form or another. It may have buried you, or buried somebody else, buried a past version of you that wouldn't have been able to deal with it. And if your negativity that you're thinking about now doesn't matter in 3 months' time, you can't recall it, why waste the moments that you've got, this sort of precious life, this brief sliver of existence in between two eternities of nothing? And problems are a feature of life, not a bug. They are just going to continue coming. You're not going to have a perfectly smooth ocean where nothing gets in your way. And it would be boring if you did. And despite the fact that you have these things in front of you and that the challenges may even increase in size, your capacity to deal with them is going to increase in kind. And anti-fragility is alive and well. So, yeah. It's the same with everything, dude. Confidence. Right. Mm-hmm. You know, the people who are on an absolute tear, whether this be in the NBA or in podcasting or in art or in music or in whatever, that are just, everything they touch is magic. And it just gets better and better and better. And then you see the people that are on the other side of that hill, and everything that they do just gets worse, and that reinforces their fears about it being worse. The baseball pitcher that's got the yips, right, just can't hit anything at all. Discipline eats motivation for breakfast. You don't need motivation. It's great if it arrives. It's some extra fuel on the fire. But discipline is the thing that you need. What would you tomorrow want you today to do? You tomorrow would want you to keep that promise to yourself. And it's why discipline is so much more valuable. I remember this conversation between Jocko Willink and Sam Harris 6 years ago. And they're talking about how you can't fake bravery. Because if you do a thing in spite of being scared of doing the thing, that is bravery, right? There's no such thing as fake bravery. Like, if you do the thing and you're scared, that's bravery. If you don't do the thing and you weren't scared, that's not bravery, right? The same thing goes for discipline. Doing the thing in spite of not wanting to do the thing is discipline, right? You don't need motivation to get yourself up to go and do a thing. Make the promise small, build it up step by step. Know that you are going to have setbacks, and this is my favorite rule from James Clear, which is a habit missed once is a mistake. A habit missed twice is the start of a new habit. Never miss 2 days in a row. So ideally, go for a month, build it up. But after that, if you ever miss one day, go, okay, mistakes are going to happen. Tomorrow I double down. Tomorrow I go on time, absolutely perfect. I'm straight up out of bed, or I go to the gym, or I walk the dog, or I do my meditation or whatever. And that's a good heuristic. Stops errors snowballing into new habits. The doing hard things thing pushes you into a place that the world can't. You know, when you are the guy that runs the company, or that has done the self-work, that has found the wife, that has done the whatever. And this is one of the reasons why I think that, you know, you look at older dudes that are getting, Jocko's a good example. I think he's in his 50s, and he 4:30 or 4:20, 2 a.m. or whenever that watch photo goes up every single day. He's up, he's working out, he's doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he's trying to build a company, all the products in the company that he's trying to build are responsibly sourced, or like, you know, no preservatives and all this stuff. So he's like trying to be ethical as possible, building boots made in Idaho or wherever it is, American sourced, American made, all of these things, like really trying to live the ethos of being aligned. He's sold millions of copies of his book. He didn't need to do this. But if he didn't go out of his way to find things that were difficult for him, there would be no difficulty left in his life. His success has snowplowed so much stuff out of the way. And this is why, as guys age, I think it's even more important, because your success is going to make life even more comfortable for you as you grow up. So you need to continue to find things. Okay, where can I be humbled? I'm going to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with someone who's got twice the skill set that I do. Learning comes from the edges. Change is uncomfortable, and it rarely happens without a lot of stress, and many of the periods of radical and important change in your life happen because of the severe challenges that you faced. Would you pay the price back then for the insights and developments that you have now? If so, have faith that whatever stresses that you're facing right now will lead to a greater version of you in the future. The challenge that you're facing is a gift, and leaning into the discomfort as if you invited it through the door, saying thank you for the opportunity to learn and reflect because it's making you better. Anti-fragility is alive and well every single time that we overcome these obstacles.
The goal isn't to have the perfect daily routine tomorrow. The goal is to still be winning your daily routine in 50 years' time. If you expand your time horizons sufficiently, you will realize that very, very tiny steps can compound. Make it so small that you can't say no to it. And then what's next? And then what's next? So when I decided that I was going to try and become a more virtuous version of me, I was going to start telling the truth. I was going to have a morning routine. I was going to develop a meditation habit. I was going to read, all of these things that I wanted to do, none of which I did, right? Toward the end of my 20s, none of which I did. All of which are now the foundation of my life. Over, 1,500 meditation sessions and all of the authors on the podcast, and et cetera, et cetera. I had to do that one step at a time. I didn't have a stable sleep and wake pattern until COVID, ever in my adult life. I'd never gone to bed and woken up at the same time for 7 days in a row until COVID, because I was running nightlife events, right? So if, no matter how difficult the setback is, even if you're a shift worker, you're a nurse, you're a parent, whatever your challenge is, just make the promise to yourself sufficiently small that even with that challenge in front of you, you can make it work.
Happiness is being satisfied with what you have. Success comes from dissatisfaction. Is success worth it then? People want to find their passion, but you don't find it, you create it. And you create it by getting good at something. And to get good at stuff, you start by doing something you suck at. Then you get good, then you like it. Then people ask how you found your passion. Answer: by starting when you sucked and not giving up. Successful people see opportunity in every failure. Normal people see failure in every opportunity. Both are right, only one gets rich. We don't rise to the standards we have when others are watching. We fall to the standards we have when no one is watching. The only work that really matters is the work that no one sees. It shows you who you really are rather than who you say you are. People who obsess about work-life balance are typically mediocre at both. Obsessed people apply their obsession to everything and just call it life. What do I think is productive that isn't? Calls, Slack and WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Staying in on weekends, sitting at my desk when I'm not working. What is productive that I don't realize? Dinners with new people, attending events, travel, reading. You want to do this because you think that it's good for you, because you believe that it's good for you, because you care about yourself. They want to have good outcomes from the things that they do in life. You don't need to lambast yourself because you don't do a thing that is perfectly designed to make you feel good. Okay, like you missed 3 days in a row. We get back on the horse, we go again. Discipline.